Welcome to the final episode in this series of the Up the Glen podcast. Folks, I have a bit of a confession to make. Some of you are probably wondering why this episode has taken 2 weeks to edit, to put together, to have on. Not that it wasn't edited, not that it wasn't ready. I'll tell you, I'm a wee bit superstitious in a sense. I had found my great granny and granddad's graveyard, or grave up in the graveyard, not that long ago, a few weeks ago, and I sort of felt a bit superstitious about it, thinking to myself, God, what's going to happen to my granny? It won't be long and all, because she goes on about it quite a lot. Anyway, then that week, the Queen died. And not that I'm a royalist or anything, I'm really, really not. I just wanted to wait until everything all settled, because I'm just that wee bit sort of superstitious. But I've been feeling that whole week something's going to happen, right? Something's really going to happen. And I'm just glad it wasn't my own granny. Should I say that? I'm so sorry if I said it out loud, but I love my granny. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes older people talk, oh, I want to go to the grave, blah, blah, blah. And I understand now where my granny is coming from. She spoke about it quite a lot. She speaks about it quite a lot. And only when I went up myself to do a wee bit of history hunting with a friend of mine that I found my great granny and granddad's grave, and I'd never ever seen it before. So I kind of understand it now. However, that week I'd been very emotional, and then the Queen died. So anyway, moving on. I'm getting ready to start my new podcast in the next week or so. I've gotten all the bits finalised now anyway. I'm going to be filming from the 15th till the 21st of October. And then you're going to be able to view, see, listen to the content over the winter months. But this podcast will be back in summertime. I've really enjoyed interviewing a lot of my guests. I've really enjoyed being out and about in the hut, going to different places. As I said, started off in a tin hut and ended up in Selfie City. Fabulous for me because I just love to be creative and I've enjoyed every part of it. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 guests, I think, on this podcast. So I'm just going to let it all roll. The very first I'm going to start with is Angela Dunlop. Then we have Kyle, and then we have 2 other wee lovelies who are doing great work. So after this episode, folks, there won't be any more. I don't know whether I'm still undecided. Obviously the frequency of it will change indefinitely. I won't be doing it every week for sure. I definitely don't have the time. Not in the winter months. I'm always a lot busier in the winter months doing my readings and things. People want group bookings and things. I always find more in the winter. So I always be super busy in those months. Don't have time to run about filming all the time. So this is why the idea of my next podcast and filming it all really in one week. And then that way I have all my lovely juicy content to edit for the next wee while. However, it's been great. Thank you to everybody that has been listening. Thank you to everybody who's collaborated with me to help me make sounds, to help me make different things. The most of it I have put it together myself, and I've really, really enjoyed doing so. We've got some great guests this week. I really hope you like this episode. In regards to the frequency, I'm still going to be bumping into interesting people. Just because it's summertime doesn't mean that's not going to change. However, I may change the frequency to the Up the Glen podcast and maybe monthly. I'll see. All right, I'll just see how this month pans out. All right, and next month, just to see what happens. But other than that, definitely be back in springtime, folks. I've already got ideas for next year for guests, for segments, for conversations, for sets, for all of it. So it's going to be great. Really looking forward to it. Don't forget to check out Glen's Gift, which is my new podcast. And that will be available later in October. All right, some of it. But you got to stay tuned. I don't know what the frequency of it is going to be. I'm thinking every fortnight, maybe. That gives me enough time. So 2 episodes really a month. That'll give me enough content to do me really maybe hopefully until sort of springtime. I'm hoping anyway. Again, I'm like in the yin yang energy of the summer being the daytime. Out and about, hello, how you getting up to Glen? And then the winter time, I saw a crystal ball and all like Glen's Gift. Not a big. Using those energies efficiently and correctly. All right. And do you know what was really, really weird? I went and I got a guided meditation done. All right. The girl was speaking a different language, right? Brenda Shanky it was. Brilliant. Really, really brilliant. And that day, I swear to God, I heard big bell, boom, as you hear on this podcast, right? And I heard the sirens, wow, like going away off in the distance, and I thought to myself, something's left me there. something really has left me. But then when I got home that day, it was the day that the Queen died. So, big changes are on the horizon. I think, folks. Not only that, I probably believe that some things are colloquial fiction as much as anybody. However, they're a part of the cultural zeitgeist of what we are and who we are in the world that we live in right now. So, amen to that, and God bless. But yeah, folks, I'm a very respectful person. I didn't want to just be showing what I'm showing, just banging on with things. All right, I like to do things correctly. Okay, so I really hope you like this episode. It's been great fun, really, really, really great fun. All right, I will be back again next year. Remember, if you want to learn more about me, visit psychicglen.com or find me on any of my socials at psychicglen. I'm Glen Gordon. This is the Upper Glen podcast. Enjoy these guests. Angela, I can't believe I've got you on, love.
Well,
I swear. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you very much.
I think that you are a big inspiration, and I've seen you really, really grow. And you're one of the people that actually pushed me in. You don't even realise it.
Really?
Yes, that day when I was in your shop, remember with Chris Riley?
Yeah, years ago.
And he was like, do a live stream now, do it. No, I don't know, he was wanting me to do it, but not wanting me to do it. And you were just like, just do it, just do it.
And then you started it?
I did it. And then from then I got off drugs and all then. I was like, I've something to live for. And it was just changed me then.
And are you much better then in yourself?
Definitely. Hardly drink or nothing now, hardly really go partying. Changed a lot of my ways, I've calmed down a lot, but it's all about having something to focus on.
Yeah, I think that when you're working for sport, or maybe if you're doing for me anyway, personally, if I'm, because I've been doing this for decades now.
Yeah.
So it makes you've got your sport work, but then you also have your own work that you got to do on yourself.
Yeah.
And you got to combine both of them.
Yeah.
There's no point in going and working for somebody if you're off your head or you're blocked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you have to be able to take care of yourself as well.
And not be an avoidance too, I think.
Oh, completely, absolutely. But I think that it's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
It's for me anyway, and changing is an ongoing process all the time. Yeah.
So Angela, welcome to the Upper Glen podcast.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you on. I'm really, really excited. I wanted to ask firstly, what age were you when you got into what you do?
When I started, I was 24. So I was I started DJing when I was 21.
Yeah.
And I bought my first set of decks, and then when I was 24, it was like my whole life all changed around. And I thought my aspirations at that time were for DJing, because I loved it, and I still do love it. But I'm sure we'll get to that anyway.
Yes.
So so within them 3 years, I was sort of practicing the DJing and talking to people who work in clubs, nightclubs, and that's what I wanted to do. That's something that I was really enjoying. And then I went to the Belfast Spiritualist Church.
Yeah.
And when I went there, I seen the mediums on the platform, and I thought, oh my goodness, what are they doing? And something inside me just lit up.
Yeah.
And I felt this attraction. But at that stage, I hadn't lost anybody really close to me. So I didn't go there with the intention of wanting to connect to anybody. It was actually through a friend of ours that she talked about it it was an Ann Summers party that we were talking about. And she had brought up about the Belfast Spiritualist Church, and she said, sure, why don't we go this Sunday? So we went. And so when I was watching these mediums on the platform working, something drew me back again. And then I heard the lady on the rostrum, she talked about doing awareness classes, and I thought, why not? So I went along, and then that's when everything started then for me. So I was 24 and I'm 44 now, so that was 20 years ago. Yeah.
20 years. And was it hard? I know you come from a big family, loads of girls. And...
Do you know what? All my family are all into it. My mummy does readings. My sister, she used to do readings. My granny, she used to read the tea leaves. My aunt, who's passed over, she used to see spirit people all the time. All the time. I have another aunt, a great aunt in spirit, who used to see the auras. So it's all down my mother's line of family. And so we're all very open to it. So I got great support. So I know some mediums, when they come out initially, I say come out of the spiritual closet. When they first kind of come out, people might be a little bit, and maybe think that they're losing the plot a little bit. But because I come from a family where we're very open-minded in that way and spiritually minded, then I got great support.
Absolutely fantastic. So Angela, tell me about your book. I know that it's a bestseller. I know that from what I gather, it was COVID that really got your head down. And
so
I've heard everybody raving about it, by the way.
Have you?
Everybody.
Well, I have had good response. So for anybody that doesn't know, this is it. And it's called The Miracle of Mediumship. And it's called True Stories of Mediumship in the Afterlife. So, I had a shop in Belfast here for 10 years. and I decided to close that down in September 2020 just because of COVID.
Yeah.
And my mummy she owned the lower shop part, even though I had the building. And she sort of wanted to semi-retire.
Yeah.
And it just felt like it was the right time for a change. So we decided then, right, let's pull back.
Yeah.
And I was still going to do online readings because it was still during COVID, so I was still able to work. And then because I had a bit more time, I thought, I'm going to start writing my book now. I have time to write my book.
Yeah.
And so now this is the strange thing that lots of people don't know behind the scenes. So in that September, I decided it wasn't just the change of the shop, but I was like you. I decided I didn't want to drink alcohol anymore.
Yeah.
I had come through the end of a relationship in my personal life after many years, and it was like everything in 1 month in that September. I just decided something needs to shift, and so that's what happened. And I actually wrote a letter to God. I was absolutely stressed out. I mean, stressed out because I was losing my relationship. I was deciding to make big major changes in my life. I was letting go of my shop, and my head was all over the place.
Yeah.
So I got my pen and paper out. I'm really good at journaling, and I wrote a wee letter, and I said to God, please help me.
Yeah.
I felt lost.
Yeah.
I really felt lost, and I felt really anxious about all these changes that were taking place. And I said to God, please help me, direct me. And I just took a moment, and then I said to God, just write through me, almost like in a channeling way.
Yeah.
Whether it was my soul, the universe, the angels, the spirit guides, whatever, something came.
Yeah.
And what I wrote down was, write your book in July of next year.
Yeah.
So this was in the September previous. And in the letter it says, and get it printed, and don't be stopping until you have this finished.
Yeah.
So I wrote that, and then I sort of sat back and I went, that wasn't even the answer I was looking for. I didn't want it. It wasn't my intention to write a book. But when I seen that, that's when I decided, okay, when I have time and I get this together, I'm going to do it. So come the months onwards, in the July, I woke up one morning on the summer morning, and it was around the 12th of July, and I just decided, that's it, I'm going to write my book.
Yeah.
And it took me from that July till the 1st of December of that year.
Yeah.
So literally 5 months.
Brilliant.
I had it wrote, printed, all the graphics, edited, everything was done.
Yeah.
And then I just self-published, and then that was it,
Yeah.
sent off. And so I really feel that it was inspired whenever I wrote that in that September. That's it now, get this done.
Yeah.
So that was my focus at that time.
Yeah, see, everything happens for a reason, doesn't it? Like,
I know, completely. So I love it, and everybody seems to really enjoy it.
Yeah, are you going to write more?
I am.
Yes.
I have another wee one on the go. So do you know what? I only got a C in my English GCSE.
Yeah.
And so I always didn't think that I had the capability to sit down and write a book.
Yeah.
But it just shows you that, you know, if you have the vision, and if anybody has a vision for anything that they want to do, it doesn't, I'm not saying that school doesn't matter, but it didn't teach me to do readings.
Yeah.
It didn't teach me to do DJing.
Yeah.
It didn't teach me to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? So you have to really believe in yourself. And even through that process, when I was writing the book, I just was constantly battling self-doubt all the time.
Yeah.
Is people going to like this? Is this going to be good enough? What am I doing?
Yeah.
I have never wrote a book. I don't even know what I'm doing. And yet I still had the vision.
Yeah.
I still held on to that thought that I had received that last September.
Yeah.
And I just kept pursuing it. And then it manifested. And now, because I've had great praise from it, I've decided I'm going to write another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a few wee stories already sort of on the go.
Yeah. Well,
so it's early days, but it won't be done as quick as what this
you're
one has
definitely
been
a
done.
novelist, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
like,
I love it. I really enjoy it.
stuff.
I like telling stories.
Yeah.
I think that I'm good at putting that out there with people.
Yeah. So you do shows all over Belfast. Many of you at home will have been to see Angela. Whereabouts are you?
So at the minute, I've actually a couple coming up this weekend, Belfast Castle. So I don't know when you're going to edit this.
So it'll probably be the day tomorrow. So,
that's all right. So I've the Crumlin Star tomorrow night. And then this Sunday, I have Belfast Castle. And then later in the month, I have loads of dates. So if anybody wants to check anything out, just jump on the website.
Yes, Angela Dunlop.
Just AngelaDunlop.co.uk.
So Angela, tell me, anybody at home that maybe thinks they're a wee bit spiritual, or maybe wants to come to one of your classes, what would you say to them?
Give it a go.
Give it a go.
Give it a go. Do you know, if you feel an attraction or a pull, it's like me whenever I started off when I was 24, I didn't go with the intention of thinking this was going to be my career. I went out of nosiness and something within me, and I say now when I look back, I think that if you're pulled to mediumship in any way, it's a calling.
Yeah.
But you might not realize that at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like somebody that wants to be a nun or a doctor or a lawyer or a mother or whatever it is that you want to be. You have a calling. You have something that is drawing you towards that.
Yeah.
So if you want to do it, go and explore it and see if it's for you.
Yeah. Well, I would say you're definitely one of the best people to be taught by.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, thank you so
loads
much.
of my friends I've been to your classes. One of my friends, Karina,
yes.
it's like, tell Angela, you know me.
Yes.
And I just feel like there needs to be more classes.
Yeah. There will be. And the lovely thing, whenever back even 20 years ago, and I know it's not that long, but even back then, the Belfast Spiritualist Church was the only place that people could go to, for the Sunday service and see mediums work.
Yeah.
And there was very rarely would you have seen anybody in a hotel or in a pub, or maybe even in a theatre standing doing mediumship in the way that I do. But now it's more widespread. So and the interest has grown over the years. So Spirit need more mediums and natural mediums that are really good at it, but not just for doing one-to-one readings, but also for standing in the public, which is something that obviously you have an interest in.
Yes, well, I'm afraid I don't know if I could get on stage and do mediumship. I don't like that energy as such. Prefer to be one-to-one.
Okay, all right.
But you smash it. Like I just
see, to be honest, I love it. And yet I think that I would consider myself a bit more, I wouldn't say introvert, but a bit more quieter.
Yeah.
But yet when I stand on the platform and I'm doing the work that I do, have great interaction and connection with the audience. And if you have that, and people thankfully trust what I do as well and have faith. So that obviously adds to it all. And I obviously have faith in the communications of what I'm receiving. So it just combines into a really good event and a good presence for people to see the work in action.
Yeah. I see a lot of your videos and all online. You can check Angela out on Facebook, on Instagram. She's been uploading a wee bit more lately.
Yes.
And it's good to see your validations and things and people saying the nights that you can go to. I think there's definitely more of a demand for spirituality now than what there was.
I think that people are getting a wee bit more in tune with themselves. Like for example, we've chatted today about letting certain aspects of your life go because you realise it just isn't working for you anymore.
Yeah.
And I was in the same boat, and I enjoy today taking care of myself.
Yes.
I like working out. I do yoga. I do meditation. I do journaling. I connect with other like-minded people. And so I feel like if you're on that track, and it's not to say that you can't have fun in the process. Do you know what I mean? You still need to have a good laugh. It doesn't mean you have to turn into this serious character that, it's all about the balance of it, isn't it? But as long as you're tuning in with you of what your energy and your spirit needs, then that's where you have to look at where the changes need and to get a bit of balance in your life. So if there's something that's a bit destructive, or is it working? And that doesn't necessarily have to be something outside of you as a person. It can be certain attitudes that you've carried around with you. If you feel like you're not good enough, or you're not confident, or you're always very self-critical, or you put yourself down a lot, or you don't even like who you are, then that can be a change in itself. And what you're doing then is you're opening up more to who you are as a person and actually saying, you know what, I'm okay with who I am. And the thing is, you either create your own happiness or you take away from, and it depends on who you spend your time with as well. But when you're on your own, why not just enjoy your own company?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I keep saying this to people. I don't feel like people know how to be on their own.
I know. And even the almost the addiction to social media nowadays too. Do you know how often do we pull ourselves away from our phones?
Very, very rarely. A lot of people, very, very rarely. And most people, I think, they have to feel connected all the time, sort of. Yeah,
but it's good if you have an avenue that you can do something that you enjoy. So you got to look for something that you enjoy. So what do you enjoy?
Interviewing fabulous people. I like spirituality too, but it's sort of my own therapy. I love that. I love because it helps me be really connected to people. Obviously, I'm male, so men don't really have very deep conversations.
Yeah,
so I feel like some don't, and that allows me then to be emotionally intelligent in ways that I could never be before.
And to be more open and vulnerable.
Yeah, definitely.
And what do you feel like you've learned over the last while?
The last while, Angela.
Since you've made the changes too.
Definitely learned that I'm worthy. That's one of the things I'm really learning now, is that I'm worthy. But energy ways, that everybody's in the same boat, and you only think that you're the only one going through what you're going through. Everybody has a vice, no matter what it is, and it's just learning about what's the healthy vice.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So yeah, just put the thoughts out there. But if anybody is listening in, just take care of yourself and enjoy you for being you. That's it.
Yeah. So I want to talk about your DJing, Little Miss
Yes.
Innocence.
Yes.
I've seen your DJing. You're absolutely brilliant,
Thank you.
and you've been babysitting everywhere.
Yes.
Tell me a wee bit about that.
Do you know what? I love DJing, and a lot of people would. I mean, my work is as a medium. That is my job. That's my role. But it's not to say that you can have offsprings off that. And for a long time, even when I get more involved in this, I still have my decks, my records, all my equipment at home. But I wasn't putting myself out there as much. And then whenever COVID happened, I decided to start getting into it a bit more because I couldn't do events. Because all the hotels, everything was closed down. So people were having garden parties. And then I just decided, you know what, I'm going to start doing garden parties for my DJing. And it was a way then of expressing my music again, because I love being in front of people. It's something I really enjoy. So I started when I was 21. Gabrielle was only 6 months. And I went and got a set of decks. My mummy was horrified because I brought them into the house and she was actually going to kill me because there was a new baby and I'm starting in my bedroom pumping music. But it was my passion even from the word go, and it still is today. So I've played. I'm really grateful. Like I have played in parts of the UK, in Ibiza. I played loads of clubs around Belfast too over the years. But now I do a lot of garden parties as well. So if you need a garden party, you know to get on to Angela. Angela, you must get asked all the time. Tell me a funny story about, when you're psychic and people know that what you do, because you're very famous. What's it like being famous? I'm not famous at all.
You are.
No, I am not.
You are.
I would not.
You are.
No.
You are. You have to accept you really are.
No, I don't think, my friend, she says, she makes me laugh. She says, oh, you're Facebook famous. And that's it. If people put it out, maybe if people see your face regularly, they might, but
do you get people asking you for readings all the time? Sometimes people do ask for readings, but I'm really good with boundaries. So I think that years back when I was only training, and really my early years, I probably would have given a reading to anybody. People don't realise sometimes you're just going out for a run. Or sometimes you're just going to get milk. And the car's beeping and all, people start nearly crashing the car. Sometimes I see things with people, if I am out and about, and the very rare time. And if somebody maybe does say, oh, you're Angela, you do the readings or whatever, and maybe if I am picking up on something, I might want to pass something on. But very rarely does that happen because I don't really tune into people. I tend to just, when I'm in work mode, I'm in work mode, but when I'm just normal, then, I think you have to be very grounded. You have to be really grounded. And if you think that you're special, then that's for me, that's ego. So you got to keep yourself level-headed. Do you know what I mean? I'm just an ordinary person, like everybody else, but I might have an ability. People might see it as the gift, but it is an ability. Like somebody who's an absolutely amazing cleaner, and that's their ability. It's their passion, it's their joy. Or somebody who's an amazing mother, or somebody that loves, a dental hygienist. We all have our passions. So if you think you're special, then you're putting yourself a little bit out there. So it's really important you be ground up. And keep the humility as well. But you can still really enjoy what you do. Angela, I think you're fabulous. Well, I definitely do. And I think that your energy, people always maybe know you in reading mode or DJ mode, but I think just your energy being raw and real is fabulous. Well, thanks a million. And hopefully we see a lot more of you. Well, thanks very much for having me on today. I do. Angela's going to be on TV next, I know. Well, by the way, so just if you've got this far in the interview, because maybe people have switched off. I don't think they will. I think they'll watch it. Well, hopefully anyway. But if you are interested, The Miracle of Mediumship, you can get it on my website, a signed copy. It's $10.99, or you can get it on Amazon, and that's on the Kindle, or you can have a hard copy of it too. So thanks very much for having me today. Yes, Angela, you've been a great guest, love. Thank you so much, love. Thank you. There we go. Bye-bye. Whaheed, welcome to the Up the Glen podcast.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm perfectly fine.
You are a medical doctor. Tell me a little bit about your background, and then we'll get a little bit into what exactly it is that you do.
So I qualified medicine, it was a long time ago, almost 3 decades, 1994. So I've been a doctor since then. I have been working in the health service for about more than 20 years in London, and I've been in Antrim for the past couple of years. My background mainly is accident emergency, but have been doing also fancy treatment for a number of years, and I thought of opening a clinic in Antrim, local, because there was no such clinic in Antrim, which does all these fancy treatments, the laser treatments and Botox fillers and body sculpting, fat freezing, all these things. So that was the main aim behind it.
Yeah. This doctor actually uses what is known as an ultrasound machine, is it? To put in,
yeah.
Which I thought, I've never heard of it before, so I thought I would get him to tell us about it.
So the thing is, with the derma fillers, when you're injecting something into anyone's skin for the derma fillers, I use the ultrasound. The reason for that is if you're trying to inject somebody into any part of the body, you don't know what is underneath. You know the anatomy, where the vessel is supposed to be, but whether you have it in that place, nobody can predict. So when you try to, some people they inject blindly. And then get complications. Injecting vascular occlusion is the main problem. So I do the derma fillers with ultrasound guidance, and in order to avoid these complications and for patient safety and better outcome. And for my peace of mind as well, I can sleep well at night.
For your own peace of mind as well, I see a lot of technology in here, a lot of different sort of machines and things. Can you tell me about what some of those machines do?
Well, yeah, of course. So we've got a couple of lasers behind us. One of them is a CO2 laser. It's an ablative laser, fractional ablative laser. What in simple English it means is you can remove any skin deformities, any scarring, any skin tags,
acne too as well,
acne scars. You can even do vaginal rejuvenation with that.
Vaginal rejuvenation. Whaheed, that's fantastic. Have you done any vaginal?
Well, we have done as a training session. Yes. But it's just going to take some time to spread the word around.
Going to get my fanny rejuvenated, and it'd be me getting done first. Can you do the anus as well?
No.
We're just curious.
The answer is no.
No. So how does that actually work, the vaginal rejuvenation?
So think of it as a canal. So if you, sorry, probably me being more descriptive. Think of a canal and you shoot lasers at 360 degrees. And what that does is that causes, when it heals, it causes contraction. So if you've got circular contraction of that area, it will make it tighter. Number one. Number two, it will improve the collagen and the elastin in that area, which means there will be more lubrication, more pleasure for both the partners. And also the other medical reason for doing that is girls who have had a couple of children, vaginal deliveries, they can develop stress incontinence. And when you make things tighter down below, what it does is it helps with the stress incontinence. So they won't leak when they cough or sneeze or go over a speed bump in a car. So that is the medical benefit, and that is the main attraction from my point of view. You can even have a rejuvenation of the vagina from the outside. Not only in the inside, but you can have that done. So that machine does wonderful things.
Yes, well, I've heard, like, I mean, I don't know, but I've heard sometimes after a girl has a baby, sometimes she can't sneeze because if she sneezes, she pees a wee bit.
Exactly. And that is the cure for those kind of problems. Then we've got the other machine, which is the ND-YAG Q-switch lasers. So what this machine does, it's again a laser machine, and it does remove any pigmentation. So if you've got freckles, you've got age spots, you've got tattoo, anything that you want to get removed, and it's going to do all that amazing. It just shoots the pigment, and that it breaks down the pigment to so small structure, so small particles.
What about dark circles? Could it take away them?
Well, dark circles, not really.
Do we have a cure for them yet?
Dark circle is a whole different ball game. These lasers can improve the skin textures. See, what that CO2 laser does also is to get rid of the fine wrinkles and the deep wrinkles as well. So it can do skin resurfacing, so it rejuvenates. And produces collagen as well. It produces elastin as well with the treatment that you've had. In turn, what then happens is it kind of contracts the skin. And that gets rid of the overlying wrinkles. So it's good. So it helps. It won't take it away totally.
Is it painful?
Well, it is. We can put some numbing cream on there. It will be definitely less painful than having a tattoo. So if that is a hallmark, it will be
like I would maybe like to try it sometime and then get my face laser to rejuvenate.
It is like people tell me that it is something like having a rubber band snapped onto your skin.
Yeah, yes.
It just has that feeling. It's not painful.
Yeah.
But we can use some numbing cream or local anesthetic to numb the area.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we can do the treatment.
Brilliant.
So there are different options.
Yeah, yeah. And what about fat removal? What can you do for fat?
Because fat freezing, yes, which is just across in the hall in the other room.
Fat freezing, folks.
We've got a couple of more machines, fat freezing. So you attach the probe in that area. For example, if you're going to get that love handles or bingo wings or double chin or anything that you want, and you're trying to exercise, trying to lose weight, but you can't get rid of that specific area, you can attach that probe. It freezes. It takes the temperature of that local area to about -5 degrees for about 30 minutes. And what that does is it freezes the fat. When the fat cells freeze, what it does is the cell wall of the fat, it disintegrates.
Yeah.
And that fat is released then into the body, into that area.
Yeah.
Now that fat is going to be absorbed by the lymphatic system.
Yeah.
And that will take about 4 to 6 weeks to show any effect. If you have roughly 3 or 4 sessions of that fat freezing treatment, you will lose about 15 to 20% of fat in that specific area, and which will give a very good appearance. You lose a couple of centimeters in that area, possibly even more. If you're having a healthy lifestyle, you're doing exercises regularly, so definitely it helps. So pockets of fat. Please bear in mind, it's not a fat loss, losing weight.
It's not a weight loss
treatment. Not a weight loss program. Yes, it will just treat a pocket of fat in that area. All right. So people get confused. Oh, I can lose weight. No, that won't happen. And the other machine, what we have got is a body contouring machine. What that does is it uses HIFEM technology, HIFEM, which is the high intensity focus electromagnetic therapy. And what that does is, you might have heard of the non-surgical bum lift.
No, tell me.
All right. So if you attach it on the buttocks in that area for about 30 minutes, that will give you equivalent muscle contraction equal to about 20,000 squats within half an hour. So if you get those treatments, what it does is it improves the muscle mass in that area. So you get a bit better peachy bum. You get a more round shape.
I'm gonna have to get that done.
And also it reduces cellulite. Because when it is contracting the muscles at a very, very advanced stage, you lose fat in that area and you lose cellulite, so it makes it really nice and peachy. And especially if somebody wants to get on the tummy as well, you can do it on the tummy, you can do it on the thighs, on the arms, biceps, triceps, bingo wings,
everywhere.
Buttocks is a very common one. So it's an amazing technology. And the good thing about that, it hasn't got any side effects.
So there's no side effects at all?
No side effects at all. It can be done in your break time. You come in for half an hour, you get the treatment, walk away.
And it's not painful, no?
So muscle stimulation, it's not painful, but contracting a muscle so strongly can be a bit uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, but it's not sore. So we can adjust. We can start off with a low setting and see where you can tolerate it better. I wasn't able to tolerate it 100%. It is quite a bit of contraction of the muscle, but it is not sore. Okay. So it's, I'm really excited with all these technologies in the clinic.
And where can people find you, doctor?
Oh, it's in the Antrim High Street. It's just opposite the Castle Mall. And it's on the High Street, number 39, Antrim High Street.
Perfect.
So it's very centrally located.
Very central. And we'll also be popping a wee link in as well, so you can check out our socials. Please give the doctor a follow. And if you're interested in any of these treatments, treat yourself. You deserve to feel good, and this is why this man's very qualified and really knows his stuff. So, want to say bye-bye to everybody?
Welcome anytime.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Kyle, welcome to the Up the Glen podcast. This is take two. Take two. We did do one on Saturday, but it didn't record right. I'm still an amateur with this, but I'm learning. I'm getting there. Kyle, you're a coach. Tell me a bit about what you do.
So yeah, Glenn, take two. I am a personal development coach.
Yeah.
And mainly grounded in positive psychology. So positive psychology is my background. It's what I've trained in, and I'm in the very final stages of completing my master's.
Brilliant.
One assignment left, and that's me done. So my coaching is very much geared towards very solution focused, goal orientated. It's about identifying inner strengths, your values, and helping you to align your goals with those, with your strengths and your values. So yes, I suppose a brief overview of the coaching I do.
And what sort of clients would you have, Kyle? Would it be business people? Would it be people, just normal people, say?
It's a range. It's a range, Glenn. I mean, I've had clients as young as 15 and clients much older than that. They're all from different walks, they're all from different backgrounds, and they are all at different stages and at different points in their life. Needing, some of them just maybe need a little bit of accountability. Some of them need a little bit of help with perhaps developing more confidence. Some with anxiety, some with their self-image. So it's all, people come in at all different stages.
There's definitely a big boom at the minute, not just in spirituality, but in like coaches and things like that there. How did you get into what you're doing now?
Interesting. So I have always, I think we said this even in the first take, but I've always had an interest in people. Always. Even from a very young age, I would have always been interested to know why people thought the way they did or why they acted the way they did. But for whatever reason, I took a different path and I went down the music route, as I told you. So drumming is my first kind of profession. But when I was about 27, 28, then I realized that even in my drum sessions, I was always trying to help people set goals, just develop their confidence. And I recognized that psychology was the route that I really wanted to go down. That was going to give me, I think, the best grounding and what I thought was understanding other people ultimately resulted in first and foremost understanding myself. So I've always had a passion for serving other people, and went back when I was about 28, started to study psychology and personal development, and it has led me to this point now of moving into my own coaching, which is really just all about trying to positively impact as many people as I can.
Well, it's definitely needed right now. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed that a lot of people are starting to be more vocal about their mental health now, in a sense where they're asking for help or crying out for it. So I think this is really where like we need more people like yourself to start doing programs, courses to try and help, especially young men. I feel like young men really need it. Do you have quite a lot of young men in?
Yes, so I mean, well, yes and no. I mean, I have worked with young men. I work with women as well, but men, of course, like there is the stigma, of course, around men still not feeling like they can speak openly about where they're at in perhaps their mental health journey. And I think you're right. There's still a need for that, but I think there's a little bit of the tide's turning somewhat where there's more and more. It's being more and more accepted now, and the importance of men and everybody, but men especially, being able to speak openly and freely and confidently in how they're feeling is starting to change. So I do think it's needed. You're right. And there is still, I mean, certainly you can friends of mine who you just check in with and you can tell that they are struggling, but maybe don't know where to look or how to turn to, or maybe don't feel like they should. You know?
See, this is the whole thing too. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't want a doctor. I don't want a psychiatrist. I don't want tablets. Get a coach. I think get a coach. Like really, if you want your life you want to be somewhere different from where you are now, maybe you need a mentor. Maybe you need somebody to give you a kick in the bollocks to go, right, you can do this. Truthfully, but Kyle, this is really what it is. I mean, I think that's what I need. I'm ADHD, I live my own. Sometimes I appreciate a boot in the ball, somebody telling me exactly what needs to be done. And I feel like this is where accountability is really a good idea.
Accountability is I think, something that is necessary for everyone. Whether you're seeing a coach, a therapist, a counsellor, whatever it might be. I do think, and I've always said this, I think everybody should have a mentor in some way. Everybody should have someone that they can trust, that they can turn to. And you're right, everybody is at different, like we said, at different stages. So for you, you're, as you maybe said, perhaps at a point where, as you said, maybe a kick on the balls is what you need. Other people perhaps need to be met at a different stage. And a kick on the balls maybe wouldn't be the best thing for them. And that's where then I think it's great, as we spoke before about, there is that different range of services for people. So anything from therapy, coaching, counselling, whatever it might be.
It's really the psychology you love, isn't it?
I love psychology. I love coaching. I love personal development. I just love serving other people. You know,
I've been psychic thought there. You're going to write a book soon.
Well,
it's already started, haven't you?
No,
have you not?
I haven't.
It's already.
I haven't. It has been in my mind. I mean, listen, writing, thinking about. It's always been something that's been there. I haven't actively started writing anything. Probably have enough material in my journals, Glenn, over the last 5 years to put a book together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the psychology and try my best to meet people where they are, help them to identify where they would like to be.
Yeah.
And work alongside them.
Yeah.
With their strengths, with their values, to meet whatever goal that might be.
It's the only way we're going to stop seeing people who are disadvantaged become more disadvantaged. It is. I mean, it really, really is. I feel like some, especially young men, I've seen them, people I've grew up with, and they haven't good influences around them at all, and bad things have happened. So we need to stop that, I think, in society. This is why I'm loving the idea of people being able to go and get a coach, and it's something they can be empowered about, and they can choose it, and they can go, right, well, I'm going to treat my Jay-Z has a coach, I'm going to get a coach. Do you understand what I mean? Let's make it trendy to have a coach.
Well, we spoke about this in take one, as we'll call it, and it was about, you kind of said, listen, trying to advice to anybody they're thinking about getting a coach or anything like that. And if you remember, I said, there's a misconception sometimes that there has to be something wrong with me. You know, there has to be something wrong with you before you can go and speak to somebody. And that's not the case. Especially with coaching, of course. Look, traditionally therapy and counseling, things like that, people are coming when they maybe are struggling with different things. Coaching is a little bit more. You can go to a coach. There doesn't have to be anything wrong with you. You just might want a little bit of accountability. You may be thinking about what your next step is in your life and looking a little bit of support through that. So I think that goes back to what we said a few minutes ago. Everybody could benefit from having accountability in some way, and certainly there doesn't have to. You don't have to be at the lowest point in your life where you can go and speak to someone or have a mentor. Have a mentor. I have people that I turn to. I have people that I trust and talk to for guidance, for support. So I think that, as we've said, everybody could do with having somebody, and there doesn't have to be anything wrong with you. You can get a coach, you can even go and see a therapist, a counsellor. For anything, you never know what might come up. You never know what might come up.
But it's important to take that first step. Kyle, where can people find you?
So the main place to find me, Glenn, is Instagram. So it's Kyle McDowell Coaching. And that's the main place at the minute where I've just I post a lot just about me, what I do, my thoughts. I'll maybe do the odd post about where I'm at and things I'm doing. So Instagram would be the main place.
So if anybody needs a coach, to check Kyle out. Kyle, any last words you want to say to people at home?
Listen, listen, I've enjoyed the couple of takes that we've done. Glenn, good luck with everything that you're doing as well. I suppose one wee thing I would say is just to make people aware of a course that I'm more support group here. It's a new and expectant fathers group.
I feel like this is so needed because, I'm being honest, no one's going to teach you how to be a daddy. And I feel like if there can be something to empower young men out there, they're not going to feel bewildered.
Yeah, so that's more just to make people aware of we're starting it in here. I think it's Wednesday, the 5th of October.
Brilliant.
And it's something that came about through my own experiences of becoming a dad for the first time biologically. I have a stepson who's 5.5, but I had a wee girl about 2 years ago. And the whole experience, the pregnancy, the birth, after you call her Kaylee, after Kaylee was born, I found that I didn't really struggled a little bit with where I was, and I found that there wasn't much out there. There was nothing for men and especially new fathers, to kind of come around with people in the same position and speak openly, get support, and in a safe space. So new and expectant fathers group will be starting here in October. Wednesday the 5th, I think.
We're definitely going to have to do another podcast on that,
I think that would be great, actually, Glenn, because I think that it's needed 100%. I spoke to some friends, close friends of mine, who are in the same position, have become first-time fathers in the last couple of years, and very much the same thing. You give them a call and they're struggling, but this group will hopefully be for, it can be for men as well who they might be expecting their second or third, but they just want a little bit of support.
To empower them.
So that's that's something for people to be aware of. I think it is needed. That
that is
it's
definitely
important.
it. Kyle, you've been a great guest.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
so
luck with
much for
everything,
coming on.
Glenn.
Yes,
Thank you.
too.
Cheers.
And no doubt I'll have you on again. I'm really looking forward to that thing in October that there for young fathers, new fathers, men out there to get more empowered, because honestly I feel like it's so needed. There's many men out there that want to be good daddies. There's many men out there I've seen them do backflips for their whole lives about it, and I feel like it maybe wouldn't have to be so harsh if they were empowered from the beginning.
Listen, it's a big change.
Yes.
It's a big life change, and,
yes.
and the whole process from perhaps you find you want to become a father,
Yeah.
the pregnancy, the birth, the change after it, you're adapting.
Yeah.
Your life completely changes.
Yeah.
So it can be it's the best thing ever, but it's
Yeah.
very difficult. And I suppose sometimes that's maybe what's not spoken about, is how
Yeah.
difficult that transition is,
Yeah.
the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for, that it can be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm so glad you're going to speak about it. We're definitely going to get Kyle on again.
Thank you, Glenn.
Kyle, you've been a great guest.
Brilliant.
Roxanne.
Yep.
Welcome to the Up the Glen
Thank
podcast. How are you?
I'm good.
How do you feel about doing your very first podcast?
Nervous.
Your dress is beautiful.
Thank
You look
you.
absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
We're down at Willows Reach today. We actually just met each other at a group that we did with Brenda for Manifestations. It was fabulous. Tell me a wee bit about what you do.
Okay, so well, I do a wee bit of everything here in Willows Reach, but my new thing is for my vision boards. So vision boards for groups, families, you know, young kids. I want kids to come in and have their visions and goals, you know, early on.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when I was growing up, you know, I didn't really know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be. So I feel like catching them at an early stage to make them think about it.
And putting it into their brain, I think that they can tell people at home actually what a vision board does. For those that don't know, some smart cookies out there want to know what they're using them, but if you haven't used a vision board, Roxy, tell us what a vision board is.
It is about putting your visions and your goals and your feel-good quotes all onto one board. So this can be what kind of job you want to be in, where you want to be in a year's time, you know, who you want around you as well.
Yeah.
Also, to take home, to have it in your bedroom so you can wake up every day, see it, remind yourself, you know, how great of a person you are. And just to have it sort of in your face every day of what do you want to do and where you want to go.
Yeah.
And believe me, like, these do work.
Yeah. Oh, I know the work. I mean, I really know the power of manifestation, know the power of vision boards, but I feel like people at home are going to be interested now going, I want a vision board. Tell them exactly what sort of things you can manifest.
Oh my goodness, everything. Anything you want, you can manifest it. Anything in this world, you can do it.
Yeah.
Anything. For instance, well, I'll say that if you had said to me a year ago what a vision board was or what manifestation was, I wouldn't have been able to tell you.
Really?
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that I was looking for it. It sort of came to me, but oh my God, what an impact that has had on my life.
Yeah.
Really, really big impact. And so I manifested a car, a dream car that I want. I went and I got my picture took beside it and really want this car, but I know that I'll not have that for a while.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the car for me yet.
Yeah.
And I came across this car and I just wanted it. It was, you know.
Yeah.
So I went down and seen it, but I had a limit
What
in my
type of car
head.
was it?
It's a Nissan Qashqai.
A Qashqai, lovely.
And so I went and seen it, but I had a limit in my head of what I wanted to pay a month, and it was £50 over. That was it, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, I don't know. But I went home and I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I phoned 2 days later. I was actually in work, and I went out in my break, and I phoned, and I says, I'm ringing up about the car, and he says, Roxy, it's just you left me half an hour ago.
Yeah.
So I was absolutely devastated. But I then couldn't stop thinking about that car.
Yeah.
And I literally manifested every day. I was on searching for the exact same car.
Yeah.
And so that car that I first went and seen was the 25th of June.
Yeah.
And I picked up the exact same car at the price that I wanted a month.
Yep.
On Monday.
See now.
on
So
Monday.
originally you weren't meant to get the one you wanted because it was £50 a year, and it was really being precise to you.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love
So
it.
I picked up my car there on Monday.
And how does it feel to drive it?
Amazing.
Did it feel like you imagined it?
Yeah, and more.
That's absolutely powerful. See, this is the whole thing. People don't realise, you know, the things that you see other people have, and this is what it is. We wouldn't want anything should they not see our neighbour with a football or see somebody with a baby, or so we're not seeing an adult doing or someone doing something. So this is where really the things that you're seeing out there in life that other people have.
Yeah.
You can have that.
You can. Yeah.
You can have that experience.
Absolutely.
So when are you going to be starting these classes?
So Wednesday nights from 6 till 8, and then at the minute once a month on a Saturday morning or Saturday lunchtime, and then hopefully trying to get it near enough in every week.
Yeah.
But Wednesday nights is going to be definitely every week, 6 till 8, and I want it to be families, you know, friends, hen parties, birthday parties. It can be team bonding for workplaces, so they
Are these
can
sort
actually,
of classes like sort of a once off, or would you go like every week?
Yeah, every week.
Right.
Do you know what? If there's something there that families want to come on their own, as well, I'll do that for them. They just have to ring up and ask me, and if I can do it, I will 100% do it.
Folks, if you really want to change your life, honestly, it's best to do go on courses. It's best to like literally stick at it, because you don't want to go and get a bit of magic, manifest one thing, and then fall right back into the abyss again. What you want is to actually systematically, long term, change your whole fucking existence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Roxy, where can people find you?
Willow's Reach in Belfast, and we are near enough beside the Big Fish. We are right next door to Elliot's and the River Rooms as well. It's the most amazing place. The energy in this place is just unreal.
It's fabulous. It's
unreal. And when you do come here, you will find out how much we have to offer for wellness, for well-being, for mindset. We do manifestation courses, we do yoga, we have a positivity cafe down the stairs, and we have so much more coming. So keep an eye out on all our socials. Keep an eye out
on Willow's Reach. And do you have your own page, or you just do Willow's Reach?
Just Willow's Reach at the minute. Just
Willow's Reach, at the minute. Willow's Reach checked in. Roxy, you've been great.
Thank you so much.
Will you come on the podcast again?
I will.
I'm definitely going to check out some of your classes, and too, I'm going to blog about it a wee bit for those at home to let them have a wee nosy and see. But folks, if these are wanting to manifest things, get in touch with Roxy down at Willow's Reach. I don't think you'll be disappointed with anything going on down here. It's very exciting.
Bye.
Welcome to the Up the Glen podcast. I'm here today with Ashley Thompson. Ashley, you're Hummingbird Holistic on Instagram. You followed me for quite some time now. Tell me a wee bit about what you do.
So I do one-on-one Reiki energy healing. I also do self-love workshops and cacao ceremonies.
And how did you get into what you're doing now?
It's a long story, but long story short, I've had two major awakenings, I think, in my life. That just totally changed my perception on everything. So the first one was my mum passing away. I actually lived in Australia at the time, so I had come home. She passed away. A lot of stuff happened, and then I decided that I wasn't going to go back to Australia, and I lived there for 6 years. So it was major, but I kind of didn't give myself time to integrate or grieve. So that changed everything. So then I built up a life again over here, and then let it out. Honestly,
that I think should be very, very proud of you right now.
100%. I feel her around me all the time, But I built up my life again back here, and then had everything: car, house, good job, family, and then I just woke up one day and was like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
Really?
I just didn't. I just didn't feel fulfilled. I was pleasing everybody around me apart from myself.
On that autopilot, I talk about that quite a lot. Quite a lot of people at home right now will be able to relate to that, in the sense that they're always doing things for other people, and there's not really ever so much for themselves. What would you say to them?
I feel like saying it's not your fault. We are kind of taught to be that way. We're taught to help everybody else. We're taught that it's selfish if you put yourself first. So this is why the self-love workshop came up. It's all the things that have helped me. But dedicating time to self-care every single day. It's been major for me. So tell me about these wee ceremonies you do. Really interested. Tell me. So last night I did a cacao ceremony. So have you had cacao?
No.
So it is a plant medicine.
Right.
It's actually it's how chocolate is made.
Right.
Only it goes in one process or another. So chocolate goes through so many different processes to make it sweeter. Cacao, they keep it in its purest form, basically. So plant medicine, if you're like me, you believe that plants have spirit.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we just call upon the spirit and ask the spirit to help with any intentions that you have. It's incredible for opening the heart.
Really?
Really, really opens the heart, can give you clarity. We just need to like.
See, a lot of people at home, when you say opening the heart, I imagine a lot of people at home are like stone. It's almost like they'll even in relationships or with their loved ones, they'll not really open up.
Mhm.
Is that something that you mean by that? Yeah.
It can mean anything really, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly like we a lot of us have built a wall because
wall,
it's
yeah.
easier to do that. And
Yeah.
when you actually sit down and feel, that's when you become your true self.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like for years I just had this wall around me.
Yeah.
And then once I actually broke it down, I started to really truly feel what I loved and what I enjoyed, not
Yeah.
what someone else thought I loved.
Yeah.
Or someone else.
Yeah.
Someone else's
Expectations,
version.
and
yeah.
a lot of us are living our life now based on expectations of the world, other society.
Yeah.
And we need to get a wee bit more spiritual. So where can people find you?
So I'm based in Lisburn mostly, but I'm going to be doing some workshops from here. So from
Yeah.
Willow's Reach.
Yeah.
And yeah, Lisburn and Belfast.
Lisburn
soon
and
to come.
Belfast. So what do you love most about it? Obviously, you're going to be a medium too, aren't you, one day?
I have done mediumship.
Yeah, yeah,
Again, I like now I'm so open to whatever comes to me.
yeah.
I feel like that's something that I maybe have been doing a lot longer than I
Yes,
realized.
I think you have to.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
done a bit of mediumship. Just so I'm pregnant, so I just felt really like I needed to stop doing it while
Yeah.
I was pregnant.
Yeah.
But yeah,
A lot of people don't want to do it. Not that necessarily that it's bad luck, but just in order to be a medium, you've got to allow influence in, you've got to allow spirits in. And a lot of you at home right now have that gift, and you've just had a baby, you've got kids, and the gift's kind of stepped away, although it's there at the back of your mind. You might notice yourself purposely keeping it away while you have young children in the house. I feel like that happens quite a lot. I see it
Yeah.
all the time. Not that it's bad luck, but just it isn't the same setting for kids, so it's not.
no. And again, for me, it's pressure too.
Yeah,
Like we all put this pressure on ourselves
Yeah.
and especially when you're trying to help people and you know that it brings healing to people.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you put that amount of pressure, it can kind of stop things from
Yeah.
coming through. And I just thought I just want everything to flow.
Yeah.
So if it flows through when I'm doing Reiki, amazing.
yeah,
But also, yeah, it's not something that I'm really pushing at the minute.
yeah, yeah. It'll come all in good time.
Yeah.
Good time. So people at home who are wanting to get involved and more spiritually, wanting to have more self-confidence, what would you recommend? What could you do for them?
So first things first is take some time for yourself, dedicate time. It could be waking up 10 minutes earlier in the morning and just breathing.
Yeah.
Writing, journaling is the
Writing.
best
See, I
thing.
believe in writing down. Believe the pen's the wand, and honestly, what you write down, it's powerful.
Mhm.
And I tend to write things in future tense quite a lot. Yeah, and then it
well,
comes
that's
through.
manifestation, isn't
Comes
it?
through quite a lot. If you write something down, future tense. But honestly, you should take that wee bit of time for whatever you need instead of always being on autopilot. You don't have to change your whole life for anybody. Just do more for you. So when do your classes down here start?
So they're going to be on Saturdays with Brenda, I think.
Yeah.
I think we're going to discuss this downstairs after.
Brilliant.
But yeah, so Brenda does manifesting and I'll be doing the self-love.
Yeah, I actually did the manifestation workshop on Saturday with Brenda, and to be honest, I found it phenomenal. I've found guided meditations quite difficult because I've got ADHD. I'm good at doing them on people, but I'm not really good at receiving them. But I've been again today, and honestly, I'm completely blown away. So it's something you've definitely got to check out, folks. Willow's Reach. Ashley, you've been a great guest.
Thanks for having me.
Are you going to come on again sometime?
Yes, if you'll have me.
Of course, of course.